every story, even the dream ones, and even the stuff that's like 100% manifestation, you're not manifesting, even if you're going through some bullshit. And I just think it's like really great to remember, because we're such like a media saturated culture that like, if you're going through something, like let it make you great.
You're listening to the Almost 30 podcast, a lifestyle podcast hosted by Krista Williams and Lindsey Simsick.
Tune in for a new episode every Tuesday to hear our honest conversations about topics like wellness, entrepreneurship, spirituality, and self-development with guests who are really smart, really inspirational,
and really fucking funny. It's real, it's raw, and it's unfiltered.
Inspired by our transition from our 20s to our 30s, we realized it's so much more than that. Our mission is to provide you with the tools, guidance, and motivation to help you navigate any transitions in your life and propel your personal growth.
Thanks so much for tuning into the Almost 30 podcast.
Here we go. Hey, everybody.
Hello, friends.
It's your gal pals, Linz and Krista.
Krista.
Does anyone call you
Crispy. Everyone
Krista?
in high school called me Crispy because of my
that's
tanning.
Cute. Oh.
Krispy Kreme, too. There was one kid, his name is JP, and he called me Krispy Kreme.
Why? Because you were just
Because I was
white and smooth.
Because I was always covered in sprinkles.
Sugar. I didn't have any cool nicknames. It was like Sim Sick. Maybe like, Sick.
Yeah, I was like, is she sick?
Sim Sick. Oh, like, okay.
You're like, whatever, don't hate me because you hate me, bitch.
I wish I was sassy when I was little. I was such a good kid. It was,
like
fucking
a bully.
annoying.
Yeah, dude. I don't like rule followers.
Oh,
That's actually one of my things in life. I don't like
when I was
rule
little.
followers.
I was a shusher.
They bore me. Oh, you were?
I was like, because I didn't want people talking over important shit.
Yeah.
I was like, shh.
Now I don't like. Now I kind of agree with shushers because it's fucking rude when people are just like
I was
yabbing.
annoying. I know. I was probably annoying. Though.
Yeah, you were like hands up in the air. You're like one finger sitting,
or I would just
standing
point.
erect.
I'd point to like
Get
Josh
them in
Lee.
trouble?
I'm like Josh Lee. No, I wouldn't. Josh Lee.
Was he the bad one?
No, it was actually Joe Bree.
There was a kid named JD Krebs. That was the bad one.
Oh, really?
I didn't like him. He made fun of my retainer.
Usually I got sat next to them. You know how you had assigned seating?
Oh, yeah, on purpose.
Oh, I cried
to balance
one time.
it out.
Yeah, I cried one time. I was like, I can't sit next to him because one, he liked
You'll
me.
catch it.
And I didn't like boys.
Yeah.
It freaked me out.
Yeah.
You know?
You still don't.
Still don't. This is my coming out episode.
I was like, actually, it's a real special treat.
Real special treat.
This is a really, really good one, guys. This is for all the boss babes, for anyone interested in living well and building a brand and building a business in the wellness space and the wellness industry. We have the CEO, editor-in-chief, or co-founder, editor-in-chief of the Chalkboard Mag, Suzanne Hall. Mm-hmm. She is amazing. She's so smart. She's so well-spoken. And this is just a really fun episode to talk about the journey of creating the Chalkboard Mag, the brand aesthetics, really building it to what it is today, which is a huge, huge brand.
Yeah. And as we near the new year, we wanted to know Suzanne's, favorite trends of this past year, what trends she feels are going to be the next big thing in 2018, which trends she's like real happy to see go. And also just like talking to her about the evolution of the industry since she first started the online mag in 2012. So much has changed. And what we love about Chalkboard is that it's just providing like a really positive, motivational space for people to go to access all of these trends that a lot of them are so inaccessible in a way because they're so complicated and all of that. So I think Chalkboard Mag really makes it sexy, stylish, fun. So we talk a lot about that and the branding and Suzanne's mission with that. So we know you'll love this conversation, super fun. And I know you'll learn a lot. And especially as we head into 2018, you will want the notebook so you can write down a lot of the products and the practices and all of that. So enjoy this episode with Suzanne Hall. Join our secret Facebook group. Let us know what you think. We love you guys.
Love you guys. We're excited for you to listen to this one and make sure to connect with the Chalkboard.
Can you talk?
Chalkboard.
The Chalkboard.
Make sure.
It's the Chalkboard. It's the back end of it.
It's for the baddies. It's for the rebels. The Chalkboard Mag, which is one of my favorites. So enjoy, guys.
Love you.
This episode is brought to you by Field Trip. Guys, have you heard the news? Krista and I are not only attending Field Trip, but we are also teaching a class about starting a podcast at Field Trip. So YEAHfieldtrip.com. Check it out. Tickets are available now. What is this? Okay, it's a 5-day, 4-night event for evolving creators and artist entrepreneurs. And at Field Trip, they believe that expanding your mind is essential. And for that reason, they pour their best energy into bringing 3 full days filled with classes taught by innovative teachers that will help us to excel in our businesses and our crafts. And it's going to take place at El Capitan Canyon. It's gorgeous. It's a natural environment. We will be kind of like glamping. So it's going to be in cabins. Definitely a bunch of people in a cabin. It's going to be comfortable. Everyone will have their own bed, but it's kind of cool. It's like summer camp. I'm so excited. So we'll probably be like chatting about life until 3 a.m., but whatever. Super relaxing, unplugged, and it's like a beautiful way to get creative and intimate and inspired and connect with people. Oh my God, I'm so excited. So we would love for you to join us. Peruse the website, YeahFieldTrip.com, YEAHfieldtrip.com. It is happening February 23rd to February 27th. And you can choose your own adventure at Field Trip. Make it exactly what you want it to be. Every day is packed with classes designed to build you up creatively and personally. It's like very personal. So no 2 experiences. Like I'm going to have a different experience than Krista, and we're just so pumped. So join us, and you can get $100 off your ticket price by using the code ALMOST30. Okay, so if you want to mingle, collaborate with the best and the brightest in the business, come with us to Field Trip, February 23rd to the 27th. Use our code ALMOST30 for $100 off. Cannot wait. This episode is also brought to you by Harper Wilde.
Harper Wild. My favorite bra that I've ever worn in my whole life. I never want to buy new bras. I don't even know if I'm a C or a D. I just kind of guess. So when Harper Wilde approached us about sponsoring, I was pumped so I could figure out what size I am.
Yeah.
So I got my new bra and I literally wear it every day.
The free at-home try-on is key because I don't want to walk into the freaking bra store and like stand there, have someone measure me, and then worry about getting like the glitter or the rhinestone or the velvet or the lace. Mm-hmm. So these bras are really simple. They come in different skin tones. They are soft as hell.
So soft. It's like wearing a sports bra all the time, but it actually has why my boobs look nice.
Literally like softer. It's
softer.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's great. We love these bras so much. And Jane and Jenna are the founders of Harper Wilde and are just like 2 badass boss ladies. And we love them so much. Are so inspired by them. So our listeners can try out Harper Wilde for 10% off if you go to harperwilde.com/almost30. So HARPERWILDE.com/almost30. 10% off. It's a free at-home try-on. You can pick out the bras that you want, strapless, with straps, different colors, all that stuff. 3 of them at home try-on. So easy. You send back what you don't want. This company is also giving back and donating a portion of what you pay for the bra to Girls in Education. And they also watch closely as to where their bras are being made and who is making them. So they're going to the factories, making sure the conditions are safe. So we love them so much. Try out Harper Wilde and let us know what you think.
Shouty. Yeah, yeah.
I know, it's a T-Pain. Do we sound like T-Pain?
Talk to me. Isn't it crazy that T-Pain, like everyone loved him and then hated him?
I don't really know that narrative.
Well,
Because of Tiny?
What was this song, Buy You a Drink? So T-Pain was really big, Buy You a Drink. He's the one that like everyone believed kind of started auto-tune. And then everyone started to hate auto-tune. And he and hated on him. And he was like suicidal for a while. But
Oh,
now everyone uses
T-Pain.
auto-tune. Isn't that sad?
The thing is, I love extreme auto-tune, but the fake auto-tune,
Ooh.
I'm like, why?
What's
I
an
know.
extreme auto-tune?
I think T-Pain
like, you know,
is.
Yeah.
styled auto-tune, like, ow.
Yeah.
But then when some girl's like, here I am, I'm the new singer. I'm like, no,
Yeah,
you're
that's
not.
not your voice.
That's not okay. Yeah, you're fake.
Who uses auto-tune? That's a
Every
girl.
single
Yeah,
person.
everyone.
Totally. Exactly.
That's what's up.
Everyone. Then
Which
you
is-
have to see them live to kind
Yes.
of prove, you know what I mean?
What's the best concert you've ever seen live?
That's a good question because my husband's a huge music buff. And recently we went on a deep rabbit hole on the Michael Jackson. And I was like, I think I forgot about this. And then I was
That's how
like,
I feel about Prince.
yeah.
I'm like, yo, what the hell?
And I feel like I didn't see Mariah when she was in her prime. And now I feel like it's too late.
It's
Yo,
too
no,
late,
no,
girl.
no. Vegas.
Oh, did you see?
Christmas show.
But also,
mid-December.
I mean, too late. Like,
Too late. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
The
too
Voice.
late.
Yeah.
Too late.
I'm also like, I love
It's like
a
with Britney.
Yeah.
It's too late.
It's too late. I feel like I haven't seen a really, really like my dream shows. I've kind of missed them over because I'm a little, what's the right word? Like I want to go, but I'm like, where's the red carpet and the cheese plate? I'm not good
Totally.
at being like,
Totally
let's
don't
get
wanna
in
stand in
there.
lines.
Yeah, like
Don't.
You're like when
general
you're single,
admission, barf.
yeah. Or when you're single, you're like, let's show up general admission. And then of course we'll like make it to the VIP area. But then when I'm married, so now I'm like, oh, that's over.
Yeah.
You're like,
You
no,
can't be like,
Can't flirt with the security.
I'd be like, how can we get in? I'm like, I'm with him.
yeah, literally.
So what he does,
You're holding
I
me
do.
back.
Yeah. That's not how it is.
What's the
now.
best concert you've ever been to?
Me?
Yeah.
Backstreet Boys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Like, I was talking about
girl.
that. NSYNC. When we went to NSYNC, I would cry my eyes out.
Oh, I was bawling.
Bawling.
AJ touched my hand. Thought, you know, when you think
You were
like when,
front row?
It was so
She
at
had
the
a
Backstreet
long
Boys
Oh, he
concert.
like flew over
They
you.
had like this
Oh.
bridge, and he reached out, but we were still. It was great seats. My dad, your dad,
My
our
dad.
dad's probably spent so much
Angels
fucking
from
money.
heaven.
Oh
my dad
my
had so much
God.
fun though.
Brave
He's like, it was so
dad.
fun. It's so entertaining.
Oh, he sent my mom. Yeah.
Oh, your mom went? Oh, my dad went. I don't want my mom to come.
Oh my
He's like,
God.
"Oh."
What
He
did
was-
you
he was
wear? That's what I want to know. What did you wear?
You know what he wore? A polo,
Oh, what did
short
I
sleeve
wear?
polo and khaki shorts.
I wore bell
Nothing
bottoms,
else. Sneakers.
from Limited 2 with leopard patches and a black tight ribbed shirt.
Whoa.
From Limited 2?
Yeah.
You were trying to
It was
get
like
him.
the only Limited 2 outfit my mom let me get because she's like, otherwise, Gap.
Oh, I was Limited
That's
2
so
all day.
cute.
I had like blow up furniture.
She thought it was slutty.
Limited 2. Like
Girl, you were in there.
I was. I spent every dollar. at
Can we
Limited 2.
bring back blow up furniture?
Mhm.
Chalkboard. Come on.
My whole,
Yeah, is that
my
on the
whole
chalkboard
home
site?
is already,
Well.
my home is already organic, sustainable rubber furniture. Organic rubber.
It's stunning. You should really see it.
My kitchen.
Throw a little
all
rub, throw a
redone in
little
rubber.
throw pillow over it.
Should we tell our babes who's with us tonight?
No.
Keep it a secret.
Yes.
Can you guess?
So excited, guys.
Yeah.
Suzanne Hall, co-founder, editor-in-chief of the Chalkboard Mag, is
Girl.
here. And she is drinking all the tea. She's dabbing the little tea bag.
Yeah, we're
Dabbing.
having.
She's amazing. She is an icon. And we are so excited to talk to her about her journey, entrepreneurship, creating a brand, creating a business,
Ooh.
what's going on in the wellness space right now, some of the trends, because you know all of them. So yeah, let's take it back to the starting of the Chalkboard Mag. So where were you? So Pressed Juicery was obviously around, and then Chalkboard. Can you tell us
Yes.
about like your story and how it fits within that?
I can. Once upon a time. No, I'm really getting into the tea dabbing. It's like
I know
getting
it's
me in
good.
a
It's
mood.
very like
Meditative.
meditative.
I think you're going to murder me.
It's like, I'm like making knots with the tea. Yeah. Okay. So yes, as you mentioned, Pressed Juicery, the chalkboard is a part of Pressed Juicery, which I feel like is very much like a 50-50 thing. People either come to the chalkboard and they're like, what? You're part of Pressed Juicery? Or they're like, you know, mainlining Pressed Juicery and they're like, duh, you know, chalkboard's part of that family. So yeah, we're part of Pressed Juicery, always have been. And really the kind of origin story of the chalkboard is Pressed Juicery in year one was a very small juice brand in Brentwood, California. We had one little juice closet, as we lovingly call it. Super cute first green juice story. And literally my husband and I had just moved back to LA, just got married, and I met the Pressed Juicery kids, the Pressed Juicery founders. And it was probably like days or weeks after the founders stopped making juices themselves, like making the juice and selling the juice.
What were you doing at that time?
And well, when my husband and I moved back to LA, that was kind of how this opportunity came about. He was like, what are you going to do? What do you want to do? Like, do something fun, like find something that you like, the world is your oyster, kind of like, what do you want to do?
What a hubby.
I know.
What a
He is
guy.
literally the best. But I always think this is fun and funny looking back at it. I stumbled into Pressed Juicery really like randomly, except we know that's not a real thing when random things happen. But and I really liked the founders. They really have a vibe to this day. And I really liked Pressed Juicery, still a vibe to this day. And I just remember telling my husband, like, these kids are making green juice sexy. This is the thing. And it's so hard to like backdate your knowledge and remember what it was like. What year was this? Like green juice was not sexy then, which is kind of hard to imagine because it's the whole wellness space is so sexy and fashion oriented and stuff. But it was not really that hyped at that time. So anyway, I was like, wow, they're putting an LA spin on something where health and wellness was already very much a passion of mine. Kind of my the through line for me is making things that are good for people, like attractive to them. So when I saw a green juice company trying to kind of put like this beautiful LA style onto what they were doing, I was super interested. And it wasn't long before one of the founders decided that we should start like a blog for Pressed Juicery, pretty much, and that's what we kind of started that was kind of the original intention for the Chalkboard, was kind of to be Pressed Juicery's blog. That was the juice cleanse heyday. Not that it's ever over, and I have a lot to say about that. But we were really juice cleanse facing at that time. So you have all these needs, when you're on a juice cleanse, it's very different from like, I'm going to pick up a juice and I don't need much from you. Thanks. Bye. When you're on a juice cleanse, you're like,
I need support.
So it's day 2 and this is what's happening with me. It's just this holistic experience. So between that and kind of the like LA lifestyle, that kind of surrounded the brand, there was this immediate template that I kind of saw of what this blog could be. And as we mentioned, just when I began talking to you guys, it was just very timely. And I say to literally everyone, because it's just the most succinct way to say it, I just feel like they didn't understand how caffeinated I was when they decided to build a blog with me. It was so kind of serendipitously a perfect vehicle for me. Something I always say that the Chalkboard's kind of fashion adjacent. It's design is really important to me in the way we present what we do. And then just really getting in there though on that hardcore wellness information and presenting it in a way that is aspirational to people. More and more so now, I feel like it's important that it's accessible to people, but it's important to ride that wave of aspiration because it gets you where you need to go. It gets you interested. It gets you excited. It puts a sparkle on things. And that motivates me. That motivates most of us. So that was kind of the DNA of the thing, to me. And really how Pressed Juicery started too. I remember we would have embarrassed customers call and say, my wife saw Justin Bieber doing the cleanse and can you send us the cleanse? Don't tell anybody I called you. But it's like, it moves the needle. So as foolish as it may be for us to want to drink what Justin Bieber is drinking, go with it.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Life in LA.
So you were like, okay, I'm into this. And they were like, we kind of want to start a blog. Or was the blog your idea? And then were you just like, how were you working with them? Did they hire you?
Yeah. So I started with Pressed Juicery. I literally told my husband, hey, I'm going to take this hobby job. I'm going to kind of take a big risk and work for this tiny juice company that's, like I said, like making green juice sexy. And at that time, it was all about the juice for me. I was like, the brand always had, like brand is very interesting to me. So the brand from the beginning had this kind of sparkle that interested me. And I was just kind of ready to get in and get my hands dirty. I love when businesses are starting up and everyone wears lots of hats and it's very like malleable and it's just very interesting to me. So I had no idea at that time that they would start a blog, which was what the kind of thing I was saying was like just my perfect fit. So at the time that the founders started, one of their best friends was fatiguing of the editorial world and came on, and I always call her my golden training wheels. She came on and for about a year, kind of like, it was my first foray into editorial. So she came on and kind of had some of the kind of blueprint, the skeleton behind how you run classic editorial. Even though digital is very different, it's all still kind of the same beast as traditional editorial. So that was incredible to kind of have that little template to start off with, someone who had some kind of traditional experience. And then I think between the timing, my level of caffeination, and just what a perfect fit it was for me. Like I said, having that thing where my DNA is really all about making stuff that is normally kind of like repellent to people, but they know they need to do that XYZ, making that stuff more like making people open to that stuff and helping them get motivated about it. I mean, even motivation's a bad word, just finding that really internal, how you turn that switch on for yourself when you need to.
When did that switch turn on for you?
I love that.
Yeah, about wellness.
Yeah.
Well, I think what's really exciting to me right now is that wellness is really moving into this mind-body space, this spirituality space. So I would say I kind of came upside down into wellness. I feel like I was always really interested in like philosophy and spirituality and kind of came backwards down into the health stuff. When you start to take care of like deep parts of your spirit or your soul, or kind of like deal with your stuff, resolve issues, you start to realize that if you're going to live in a deep way or on like a higher plane, et cetera, you kind of can't be eating processed food. There's just kind of this disconnect. So I think for me, all the stuff about food and about caring for your body, it kind of came that way. I'm into a lot of stuff like vibrational medicine and all this stuff that even if you're like barely, kind of getting into like green juice and stuff, you're probably like, oh, wow, no thanks, lady.
No, our girls get it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I feel like I kind of came back down into that stuff and just kind of seeing like, oh, there has to be a consistency across my life. I feel like when you get really honest with yourself about anything, all the other areas of your life where you're being dishonest, so whether it's food addiction or eating stuff that intuitively is not like real food or really great for you, or just kind of being aware of how you feel. Do you feel oxygenated? Are you getting great rest? All that stuff kind of the lines start to blur. Do you know what I mean? All that stuff starts to kind of become one with, oh, how am I caring for myself? How do I feel? How am I living honestly? It all sounds like a little bougie, but you guys know what I'm talking about.
Oh, completely.
It also shows up, I think, in relationships too. Like, especially like people in their early 20s, like if they're starting to really do that deep work or kind of dip their toes in spirituality, oftentimes, and I know through friends, that they'll look at the relationships in their life, whether it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is, they're like, oh, wow, this is not for me. Like it's this kind of complete like tossing of everything that they felt was good for them. And it was just kind of what people told them what was good for them or what they should be doing. And it's just
I love that you said that, like what they felt they should be doing or because I think that's the thing. Maybe that's why I said self-honesty is, for example, getting into your, late 20s, getting into spirituality, quote, could be something completely external for some people. And you might not even recognize it. But spirituality, wellness, all this stuff, none of it's really a hobby. It's all actually just what humans need. And it's just when you begin to become honest, like self-aware and honest with yourself, and you can really take, I think, especially for women, especially the way that like we have grown up, to become really honest with yourself is slightly terrifying and slightly out of our wheelhouse. Like all the things that we've been raised to do socially, and I don't know, a lot of the skills that it takes for us to be like socially apt and to have fun even. A lot of them require or like make us prone to being a little disconnected from self-honesty. I mean, I even think like our relationship, the way that a lot of young women you know, a lot of the ways we were raised to handle like relationships, romantic relationships, there's kind of like a certain level of like self-dishonesty, like almost required or acquired in that process. So,
do you mean like you aren't being honest, like not getting what you want and you're not being honest about it, or
more like just on a like woo-woo, like self-honesty level of just like realizing, what is this about? Why am I here? What's going on with me? How am I developing? How am I growing? What are my benchmarks beyond the fun stuff? I think that sometimes if relationships, like romantic relationships, become too much of a priority, which I think is so easy for all of us to do, it almost becomes distracting from becoming who we're meant to be instead of developing relationships. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
because you're like focusing on that person. You're like, okay, so we're working on this, or we're good, and if we're good, then I'm good with myself. If we're not good,
like
then
who
I'm
am
not
I
good
in
with
this
myself.
relationship?
Yeah. You like, I mean, I think that is like something that I've used to do, was like focus on what, you know, that person's response to me rather than my response to that person in every situation. You know, like, well, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. Okay, well, I'm like feeling like this, blah, blah, blah. But really it's like, they're always going to be whatever they are. So like my control of my response in the situation is what's important.
Yeah.
And like what I have control over, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Trials of like 20s. I'm just thinking back. I'm like all the times, like I just thought about them, you know?
Yeah.
And I could have been doing this, the work, like the inner work so much earlier.
The inner work.
I mean, coulda, woulda, shoulda, but it's like,
I think about that with like,
meditate. Yeah. Like, yeah. No,
well,
I know.
meditation.
I think it's like I kind of accidentally got into like a personal pet peeve, maybe not pet peeve, or like passion project of mine, where I really feel for girls in their 20s a lot of times with the relationship thing of just like the self-knowledge, like you're saying, and knowing yourself. I think there's so many delightful distractions to like becoming yourself in your 20s, but it's actually such like rich, fulfilling work. I just think a lot of times what it takes to get there looks kind of like counter to success the way we've defined it in this really fun, sexy way. So I like to talk about it. It just ends up coming up, I think, sometimes because I want to encourage people like, no, you go in there, you do your thing, you get right with yourself, like know what you want, know who you are, explore who you are.
Get messy.
Yeah.
Like,
and like get down to business, like resolve your stuff, face your stuff.
I feel like the relationships oftentimes are the catalyst for people to get deep and figure out and get messy, because oftentimes it's the heartbreak and it's like it's a difficult time. You know, it's kind of that cracking open of someone that's like, oh, I really actually need to figure out who I am because I've lost this person. I'm not with this person. And without it, it's like a lot of people can just go through their life not figuring out who they are because there's nothing that's really forcing them to do that.
So I have something to say about that, because it's actually kind of an interesting metaphor with what happens in wellness is heartbreak can so be a catalyst, but I think it's really empowering and important to recognize that you can be your own catalyst. This comes up daily probably in what we do is almost everybody I know in wellness experienced some kind of crisis that was a catalyst for them, right? They had a health crisis or they dealt with their own stuff. And so now they are helping others in that same situation, which is like so missional and so beautiful. But thank God. And I mean, I will have my own struggles in life, but I haven't had many like dire health issues. I'm just really nerdy about this stuff. But I just think along those lines, it's really cool to understand that, like, yes, you can wait for drama and trauma to happen to you, but what's going on when that happens? And how can you actually trigger, of course, not the trauma and the pain, but like, how can you trigger those like aha moments? Thank you, Oprah, or whatever. Like, how can you trigger that self-honesty or that like radical looking at stuff? It can actually kind of become very exciting. And you can learn to like deal with your stuff and progress to these like deeper levels, higher levels, learning to kind of like trigger yourself, if you will, without the external, the external stuff that like naturally kind of does it for you.
Totally. I find that challenging I can trigger myself for growth and development, but I haven't really like triggered myself figuring out like the shadow parts of me. Do you know? Because it's
You probably
like,
don't have any.
I know, that's so true. She's right.
You're super classy.
I'm good. Anyways, check, I'm good. But like that kind of, you really have to like trigger it or just not trigger it, but you really have to like
Commit to it.
commit and
And
do
it's not
some
about
digging.
finding like, oh, how deep can I clean my closets? You know?
Yeah.
But it is, there is some like, you know, you could go your whole life in a culture like ours without ever having to like
100%.
mentally blink or emotionally blink. So
That's what phones are for.
yeah, exactly.
Yes, like if you're about to look at your phone.
Exactly. You will stop all growth. immediately.
Exactly. It'll keep you from that. Okay. Back to the board.
Okay.
So you're working with them to create the blog.
Yes.
And then how many years from that time until now? And like, can you talk about the journey and the ride?
Yeah. So we just turned, well, I feel like the older you get, the vaguer you get with like numbers and you're just like, let them
Like, we're
go. But
fine.
yeah. But I think we're 6, which is so incredible. And it's so cool to see like how wellness is really like blown up and blossomed in this time and just how much everything has shifted. But yeah, I mean, we kind of built it in this group think, I think, together. We kind of had a lot of creative ideas to bring in the beginning. But the blueprint has really been there, at least in my mind. The blueprint's always really been there where we're looking at what people themselves do in wellness, talking about the deep hippy-dippy wellness stuff, talking about like superfoods and how that whole genre of kind of like strange foods that are really like kind of intentional foods, how that has grown into this whole, you know, Erewhon just kind of blow up.
I'll talk about Erewhon.
Yeah. Exactly.
Do you live close?
I live
You know, the Erewhon's like
is opening.
Are you
It's
live in
very
Venice?
exciting. I live in Santa Monica.
Oh,
I won't say exactly, but
down
yeah.
the street from Erewhon
Just
in Venice.
yeah.
she is, but they're
I
opening
go every
one
day.
here.
I spend
and-
$40 a day every day.
Exactly. It's the whole situation.
Literally.
Yeah, but I mean, it's been I would say like a pretty straight and narrow path. I mean, we've produced 3 pieces of content a day from day one. So as I said, having not come from like a traditional editorial background, I definitely like threw myself in and just went full board. And it's just been a wonderful experience. As you guys know, being a little wellness nerdy yourselves, I literally could never run out of anything to talk about in our space. There's so much interesting stuff. And then there's so many interesting and exciting people, brands, like the industry just like growing around us. There's so much. And at the same time, there's so much skepticism and so much like, there's so many conflicting ideas and there's so many interests out there around food and around health and stuff. So I find it so compelling and so missional to like be working in this area. I feel like I'm surrounded by a good amount of skeptics in my life naturally. So to me, I'm always speaking to that person. I'm always speaking to the person who's not drinking the Kool-Aid yet or maybe never will. And that's super important to me because I'm obviously I'm an Aquarius. I'm a wellness editor. I'm like all in, but it's really important to me. And I think that's really a part of our brand identities. I really am for the most part trying to kind of talk to that person who's like on the edge, like dabbling, you know, like, okay, cool, maybe, but what are you talking about? I'm trying to kind of, one phrase I use a lot is like, I'm trying to lure that fashion girl into the wellness space. And that used to be our thing for a long time until fashion basically fell in and practically choked on the wellness space.
Literally.
So now that that's a thing, it's like the lines are very blurred, but that is very exciting too. I mean, for my design, like love, it's very exciting that like fashion and art is all getting, too close and all mixed in with wellness. It's very cool. But then also just on a societal thing of like what I said I love to do. It's super exciting that it's just getting glossy here and there. And, look at everything you just pulled out of your cabinet. It's all like so sexy. You know what I mean? Like
Thank you.
our shrooms and our tea. It's like,
There's like thongs in there.
yeah. No, but I mean, it's like,
Collagen, this,
it used to be you could
that,
only
yeah.
find pretty packaging like that in like, your medicine cabinet or whatever on your vanity. And now your kitchen is like so
department
hot.
stores.
Yeah, so glossy.
True.
That is so true.
Fucking
I
love
never
And it's
thought about
great.
that.
It's fun. I love it.
Very cool.
And then in terms of like how you are branding Chalkboard in such a way that you are pulling in the skeptics and, the girls in fashion or those that are just like so on the other end of the spectrum. In what ways are you branding and what articles are you finding that are really drawing people in and getting them excited about these products and programs and practices?
I mean, there are a couple things. I think for one, this is something we've all heard maybe ad nauseum by this point, but we're reaching such a level of stress. I think currently in the past couple of years of just like the global climate and just, the state of things, whatever your cup of tea is, there's just a lot of stress for a lot of people right now. So, I mentioned that so many people in wellness that I know of have had a crisis that led them into wellness. I really feel like right now, that's kind of a global thing, that so many people are in crisis on a health level or just kind of an emotional health level. For so many people who were like, it's just a little hotter in here, that they're turning to wellness looking for resources and tools on a super practical level. So there's that, which I think is positive because sometimes, if everything was like hunky-dory and easygoing, maybe we wouldn't find the things that we need to find. So the bright side of like all this stress and tension is, people are looking for tools and they will find them when maybe if things were a little more smooth over, they wouldn't be looking. The other side of it is totally beauty and vanity, which is like, give me that stuff. Like, show me.
I need that cream.
Like, that it's really all about putting pearl powder in your coffee or your tonics, FYI. But like,
that's it.
Yeah, that's all people are looking for. But I find that sweet spot, on a business level and on an editorial level and like on a personal interest level is really beauty. You know what I mean? Because looking good, I mean, a symmetrical face fits into the golden ratio. It's deep stuff. So our seeking out beauty isn't just about being programmed to be skinny and overexposure to Victoria's Secret models. It's also like just a natural inclination to find that, when a strawberry is whole instead of rotten, it looks prettier. And there are certain things about beauty that are also really innate and valuable. And it's not, of course, we have this like marketing problem and like the over skinniness and all this kind of stuff, but it's also, there's also something very innate about beauty. So I think that there's negative and positive to the whole vanity thing that draws people to wellness, but I just look at the bright side.
So true.
Yeah. Let's think about it.
Well, I'm just thinking about it because like, it's true because and I think, it's exactly what you touched on. There is like the thing where is the vanity piece, but basically anything you're doing, if it's in wellness, let's say, it will improve you from a vanity perspective, but most of the time it'll also improve you from another perspective.
Yeah.
So if you can draw them in
externally,
this will make you look this way and glowing skin and long, thick hair.
Whatever it is to draw them
also, it might cure some gut health issues and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that all mixes around really well.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so true.
What are some trends this past year that you are obsessed with, and give us some that you're like really happy to see go?
Yeah. I'll be frank, this is going to sound a little, can I say douchey?
Yes, you can say whatever the fuck you want.
I haven't said douchey yet today. douchey.
But recently, the Whole Foods like trend report came out for 2017, and I think it's kind of become like
avocado's number one.
Yeah, it's kind of like, hey guys, news flash, mushrooms. Yeah. And it came out and I was very disappointed with it because I was like, give me something to work with. I've been talking about this stuff for research. 4 years. But, it's that trickle down effect where sometimes I think that I give the Pressed Juicery founders a hard time where I'm like, that's over. And they're like, that's really not over. You are in the golden Venice bubble and you think that this has already happened, but it literally has not happened.
That's what I do too. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, you guys are drinking reishi. And like, everyone's like, what?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I know it's boring.
My mom's like, watermelon water.
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, you're like,
Sugar.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We're like, I know you're probably bored of like hump pancakes. Like you've had them every day, but you're like,
Yes.
no, we don't know what those are.
literally.
Yeah. So
They're like 100-calorie packs. They're amazing.
yeah, let's count calories together. So I think sometimes I get bored quickly. I mean, honestly, think about it. 3 pieces a day we talk about a lot.
Yeah, you do that.
Well, it's fun, but
Yeah.
it's also exhausting. But so I think I move a little too fast in most things that I do. My like issues are always about like pacing myself. So trend wise, my personal thing, and this is going to sound like a broken record to me, but not at all to you, hopefully, is my whole superfood latte thing is really still fire for me. So
You're over it?
no, I love it.
Oh, you're into it.
I
Love.
still
Same.
can't get over it.
It's
Same,
so
girl.
fun. It's like I'm a witch and I make little potions. every
Yeah.
I just like how it's frothy. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
Tell us what's in
exactly.
yours.
So it varies.
Mhm.
It depends on what I'm after. But sometimes I go that bulletproof route, but it usually has a lot of extra stuff in it. I really am a sun potion devotee. Love you guys.
Yeah.
Not
Us
sponsored.
too. Us too. Yeah, we love sun potion.
we haven't pitched them yet.
And yeah, they're but all that kind of thing. I'm super into like Chinese medicine. So all that whole world is very interesting to me. And I just love the idea that coffee's, always going to be controversial. And I probably could deal with a little less caffeine. I've already referred to it like a friend in this interview.
Mhm.
But I grew up in Seattle as well. So I feel like I have special
There you
rights to it. But I do drink half calf.
Oh.
No heavy metals in there. But it usually has a lot of pressed juicery almond milk in it, honestly. Sometimes the coffee just completely leaves the picture and there's just all the other stuff in there. But it's all about like cacao powder, tocos, all the different mushrooms, pearl powder, like I mentioned. Sometimes there's some pink salt. Sometimes there's the MCT, but not if there's the almond milk. It's just like a whole
protein powder?
Okay, protein powder is like my absolute jam. And I'll just give everyone a life-changing tip. Again, this is not sponsored, but it really should be. Amazing Grass chocolate peanut butter. Sounds a little basic, but it will change your life.
I love Amazing Grass. I didn't know they had chocolate peanut butter.
Oh yeah, it's relatively new. I feel like we've literally launched this product.
Good, clean ingredients.
It's green powder and it's green plant-based protein powder with greens in it, but it tastes like chocolate peanut butter. And if you blend it right, go be
I'm all about that.
oh my gosh, into your latte is life-changing. So yeah,
Cool.
it is really all about the protein latte. So that's exciting. I'm really kind of coming back to greens recently. You can really never get away from them. All about apple cider vinegar, of course. Pink
Classic.
salt. Yeah, so classic.
What are you using the pink salt for?
I usually, have you heard of Sol? So SOL is kind of like seawater. It's like it
I
reaches.
just had some yesterday.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, in the glass bottles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. In the little glass, like syringe, almost like things.
It's like, maybe I'm thinking, is it a brand? Soul?
No.
Never mind. Bye.
Okay.
So you're like, oh,
There's a
It's-
brand.
Okay. No. It's basically like there's kind of this like ideal natural mix of salt and water that's like
Oh.
great for your blood, kind of matches your blood, blah, blah, blah. So of course you don't want to be drinking straight up seawater. It would be disastrous for your internal health. But a touch of pink salt or gray salt, people kind of forget pink salt is not the only thing. Like real gray salt is actually completely legit. But just a tiny bit in that in your water remineralizes your water. So something that I see happening a lot right now is like the ideal in your home is having a reverse osmosis water system, but it actually also sucks all the minerals, or most of them, out of your water. So you want to add them back. So there are things you can do to like, I have a reverse osmosis filter, and then I have this whole little pack that adds the minerals back in. So wherever you're getting your water from, adding just a tiny bit of pink salt or gray salt and making sure it's really mixed in there, it kind of like remineralizes your water. And I kind of get out of my league, but I feel like structured water is kind of what it is. It's kind of stemmed on that same thing.
Cool.
Man,
Damn.
salt or crystals?
Nice.
lattes, salt. What's a trend you are not into? You were like, that was an
Ooh.
actual trend.
God, anything that's overly prescriptive, I am not into. So like, I was very relieved when I found that my blood type did not need like excessive burdensome exercise. I was like, what?
Oh, hell yeah.
So I definitely,
That's my blood type.
yeah, that's my blood type. So, but I think this is an indirect answer, but I think just really making sure you know what is for you and listen to your gut, listen to your intuition, not be like, I need to be into this because my friend, like, she's having so much, she looks great, or she's having success with this and it's working for her. It's like, sometimes that's great, right? That's how you find out about something, but make sure you're being intuitive because, my husband and I, like, my wellness stuff does not work for him. He needs different stuff. Like, it's almost diametric. You know what I mean? So just remember that you need to like stick to your own path in a way,
Yeah.
as long as you're not
Why
like,
is that? Why don't dudes like it?
it's not
Because
even
we're
so
telling
much-
them what to do.
Literally.
we're going to get into a whole other
there's
podcast.
like
You have to like trick them. You're
Article
like,
on
so there's a
ESPN.
video game.
Literally. There's an article on ESPN about NBA players are becoming vegan now. There's like a good amount of them.
Oh,
I sent it.
NBA players and
NBA
rappers.
players.
I'm not going to tell you how many
love it.
holistic people I go to where they're like, rappers are really in here all the time.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm like, oh, they're like, they get it.
They
Purple
get it.
scissor and then vibrational therapy.
Yep.
Totally.
It's like
It's the ultimate combo.
Saturday.
It's like a normal afternoon.
That's it. But yeah,
That's
boys,
interesting.
I can show them all the facts and it's just like,
It's like, but what about the meat?
yeah, literally.
But then that's the funny thing too, right? Like this is just me, myself, and I, but like my husband has the like blood type that has to get punched in the face to work out, like yes, it has to hurt and has to eat a lot of meat. And so I'm
Same.
like,
And I
can't
don't
make him
either.
eat giant salads with quinoa in it and like do
So
yoga.
you subscribe to blood type diet?
Well, okay. I don't subscribe to it. My favorite thing to do is like, look at all this stuff. Look at like blood type. What are all the different, schools about like your astrological type, your Myers-Briggs, and start to boil it down and see those themes. And what I think is super interesting is if you look at all of it, what are the ones that show up everywhere for you and like take a note, but nothing can be prescriptive. I mean, how could it be? You could have a blood type, but then have an autoimmune issue. You could be, I don't know, living in Iceland
exactly what
with
you mean.
it's all, we all have kind of complex stuff like affecting how we manage our stuff,
Have you explored like Ayurvedic?
Yes. I love Ayurvedic stuff. Like I said before, I feel like Chinese medicine and Ayurveda are kind of these two of the most ancient, and I'm definitely more into the Chinese medicine. I've just had like better experiences with it. I think sometimes too, like I've known a lot of like incredible Indian women who are into Ayurveda, and I'm just like I said before, I'm like, I totally know that works for you, but like for sure that would like, I would lose all my hair if I did that, like what you do, like 100%. So
I just one when I was like, salads aren't Ayurvedic. I was like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna.
They're like, if you can
Out
saute
of
it,
this
if
one.
you can like warm the salad, saute it.
Literally, and sauteed in dal.
and like, there's definitely some wisdom to that, but like,
There is.
yeah, seasonality is another thing, right? Like, I mean, there's so many like ebbs and flows to things. I think sometimes do you ever, I really get into this diet or this workout or this habit and it goes. And yes, of course, sometimes you're like, okay, stop being lazy. But other times you're like, oh, it's because you actually don't even need that anymore. Like it's time for something new.
We talk about that a lot.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, because I feel like it's good to just be open to be like, oh, that was the season. Literally, like you
Hit workouts.
That's my workout. Yeah.
Yeah. No, meaning like we let it go.
Oh yeah.
We're like, we're kind of, I mean,
We used to
the
do
high
like
intensity
berries,
Totally.
circuit.
every day.
I would do like 2 a day sometimes.
Yeah, and
No,
I mean,
no.
your body was probably like,
It was the
that's
punch
enough.
in the face type of thing you
The
were
punch
talking
in the
about. We were
face
like,
thing.
okay, so
I was
2
like,
workouts,
if
I
they're
can-
not playing Sandstorm, I'm not getting a good workout. I was like, turn down the lights. I need a gay trainer to yell at me for 45 minutes.
But it's also like quieting the mind during that too. Cause like my self-talk, if I'm not doing a HIIT workout that day is like, all right, well, you didn't burn that many calories and your body's not gonna be as tight and this and that. And it's like, No, you just saved your body some intense stress. Like it's a shift
Yeah,
in like
it's
how
like
you're talking to yourself
stress,
about it.
stress addiction related, or like needing the intensity.
It's crazy.
That is such a hard shift,
over it.
right? Yeah.
Or actually, like now too, it's like I'm actually there in the workout. So now, like at the end of it, I would go to classes and I'd be like, it's literally 6:30 a.m. And the first thing that I'm doing right now is like forcing myself to pound on a fucking treadmill at like incline 6, speed 7, listening to like a remix of Rihanna.
And I mean, good for you. Like,
I mean, yeah, but like,
Reason in
good
the
for people. If
season.
that's your thing. Reason for the season was amazing. But I'm like, this is a rude way to wake yourself up.
yeah.
I love myself and it is great for some people and it was great for me for a long time. But at the end, I'm like, this is rude.
Yeah, I think that's so important,
You know?
because it's not just about being like, I win today.
Yep.
Yeah.
I win. Yep.
I, stabbed the flag into the end of the race. It's like, okay, who was that? Someone timing you?
Yeah.
Was someone chasing you? Oh,
Yep.
no. Okay.
So what kind of workouts do you like?
Well, as I said about my blood type, I was super thrilled to discover that I need like a relaxing workout. For me, I feel like my nervous system gets so nuts. Like, we have an Aries on our team who also needs to be really punched in the face for workouts. And she describes them to me and I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
My recent jam, which is very exciting and kind of like, I don't know, it's full of a lot of little revelations, is Lo Roxburgh. Shout out to Lo Roxburgh, who does the foam rolling. And she really, she's just an amazing woman. Yeah. She works with the fascia. And it's like similar to Rolfing, but it's kind of like evolves Rolfing. And for any of you out there who are like me and like averse to like, someone yelling in your face as a workout, the thing that'll get you is Lauren's like, what you need to do first is commit to doing no cardio for 21 days. And I'm like, you had me at hello.
Wow.
But you literally work through these different body parts. You roll. It's so like therapeutic. And when you start doing it, it's so intuitive. There are like 21 days you start out doing in her book of rolling exercises. So for example, you'll do like 5 exercises where you're like almost to a pain point rolling your thigh muscles. And when you're done, the way the blood flow and the alignment, you're like, oh, like this is how my like hips actually feel when I'm in like my best shape. Like you just feel it. So I really love that. And
Do you do it at home or in a class?
I've been doing it at home while I have her book, but I've met with her too. And she works in like a Pilates studio and you can work and do one-on-ones and stuff with her. But I've been doing it at home as well, which I really love as well because I love a variety in my schedule. Super important to me, especially with the kind of work we do. Like no day is the same. So having flexibility is really key to me. So love to do that. Mix in a little Pilates, a little yoga, like interval runs. But I mean, I'd say for being in the wellness world, I'm pretty chill on the workouts. Like, definitely never been the girl to get up at 6 and
That's
like
good though. You need to say
triathlon.
We interrupt this episode to bring you a word from our sponsor, Storyworth. Okay, guys, Storyworth is our newest sponsor, and we're so excited to share this with you. It's a cool idea, an idea that I wish I thought of. So, everyone has a family member who always tells the best stories. For me, my dad is such a great storyteller, funny stories, mostly. Like that time he couldn't find a bathroom on a road trip and went to the woods and used his sock instead of toilet paper. But any type of story. So Storyworth wants to make sure that future generations can enjoy these stories too. They also aim to bring families together every week as they get to know each other better. So this is how it works. You purchase a subscription for someone you love, and each week Storyworth sends them an email with a question about their life. And they simply reply to this email with their story or can record it over the phone by calling the Storyworth number. All stories are private, so you don't have to worry about that. And then after a year, their stories will be bound into a beautiful keepsake book. I mean, come on. Storyworth was founded by a guy who wanted his dad to record his amazing stories. The family enjoyed the process so much that they launched in April of 2013 so that families around the world can share in this gift as well. So cool, right? So I am gifting this to my grandmother. All of her children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren are spread out all over. And I want her to enjoy stories from, individual families and as the kids grow up. And I am also gifting it to my cousins as well this year. So I'm super, super excited to share this with you. Krista and I are like handing this out like hotcakes this holiday season. And the hardcover printed book is just beautiful. It's black and white, up to 500 pages. It's just great. So our listeners can enjoy Storyworth by going to storyworth.com/almost30 for $20 off when you subscribe. So www.storyworth, STORYWORTH.com/almost30 to get $20 off when you subscribe. So try this out, guys. It's such a great idea for the new year. And by the end of 2018, they will receive a hardbound book with all of these beautiful stories. So try it out. Let us know. This episode is also brought to you by
Mend. Mend is the app for heartbreak. So Mend helps people get over their breakup. Heartbreaks hurt, but you don't have to go through it alone. And Mend provides self-care trainings, everything you need to help you through your breakup. What I really love about it is that Elle, the CEO, gives you daily audio trainings where she's there for you. You hear her calm, soothing voice, giving you the advice and inspiration that you need during a time that might be difficult. And then you also get practical tips and community support. So never feel like you're alone. Never feel like you're not supported by people that love you and surround you with the app Mend.
I wish I knew about this, like when I was going through a rough breakup. I love this.
I know.
I'm definitely going to suggest it to people that I know in the wake of breakups.
I'm trying to think if I know anyone. I feel like everyone's kind of always going through a breakup.
It's always like until you find the next person.
Yeah, literally. I always...
Right? I know.
Always have backups.
I do. No, but I think this is a beautiful resource for people to turn to. So you can go to letsmend.com/almost30 and you can try out Mend for free. So try it out. letsmend.com/almost30. Let us know what you think. I mean, community means everything to us. So this is just another resource to help you navigate this type of transition. All right, guys, enjoy.
This is kind of shifting gears. What would you say to someone who has a blog or is starting a business right now? Like, how would they stand out? What would be some advice you would give them?
Yeah. Two things come to mind. One, like just kind of annoying advice is business. So I think if, especially if you're a young woman, you have we're so blessed right now. If you have like a creative passion project, you can launch it in so many ways that people never dreamed of. So some ways all the rules are off, but I would say just like, make sure you educate yourself in the basics of what it means to run a business and the X's and O's, the ones and zeros or whatever of what that looks like, just so you have a basic baseline understanding. Don't skip some of that fundamental foundational stuff. But on the completely other hand, that's like the roots, the wings would be like, to just really trust yourself and your intuition. Don't mess around with bullshit. If you have a bullshit idea, be honest with yourself and move on. Know that like if you're trying to launch something, make sure that your intention is in the right place. You're not doing it that's like a whole other podcast. Make sure you know that your intention is in the right place, that you have if you have a great and solid idea, or if it's just kind of like the magic of what you've got going on and who you are, and you've got some stuff, just trust that, believe in it. Don't be crazy. Don't be an immature child who like resists all advice, but do take a stand and like develop and like implement and put out there what you've got in your own way.
That was beautiful. Very succinct.
Did you, when you were first, in the early days of Chalkboard, was there a point at which the content really became, I'm sure from the beginning, but really became your own? I think when you're starting something, you're also, obviously you have Pressed to think about,
and those founders and maybe what you should be doing in order to make this successful? When did it really become like your own? And
Yeah, I think in
that
some
way?
ways, the years we've been doing this has been the kind of the smooth trajectory. So there haven't been too many dramatic shifts, but really from the beginning, when I think about that, when I think back to kind of like what we dreamed up the DNA of the thing to be, I feel like I'm a very like future-minded person. So I feel like I always had this like template, this vision for it in my mind. And I really like love people. I really like get off on seeing how people do things with their style. I mean, we all kind of have grown up on that kind of content, right? Like, how is this person doing their thing? Like, how have they decorated their office? You know, cheesy things and then deep things. So we've always just talked a lot about like how people are doing, what people are doing. I've always been very interested in brands. So I think from the beginning, there's been some of the DNA of the brand, and like just the people that spark me and the brands that spark me have really kind of like been the horse to the wagon of just like being like, whoa, let's talk about this. Let's talk about what these people are doing. Let's talk about what this brand is presenting. And a lot of those brands and stuff have really like, you know, shotgunned alongside of us in this like wellness space. So I think that has been part of like that spark back and forth has been really exciting. And I don't know if I really answered your question on it.
You did.
Yeah.
What brand, in that vein, what brand stands out to you as one that Chalkboard introduced to the world and has taken off?
Oh gosh, I feel like that's kind of sensitive in a way because I feel like in my mind sometimes like,
or maybe one
like,
that you just comes to mind, but I'm sure there's so many.
Like natural beauty is a big thing for us, right? And then all of the like food, almost food supplement kind of things are a big thing for us. So there's definitely a lot of brands in that space that I feel we helped shine a light on in like special ways, significant ways. I don't really want to name brands because then I feel like I'm taking credit for beautiful things people did.
Yep.
But definitely natural beauty, I mean, has, oh my God, like to think of, here's a brand I take no credit for whatsoever, but here's a perfect example of why my job is so exciting. Like May Lindstrom. I don't know if you guys are familiar with May Lindstrom skincare, but she's a super gorgeous, like fairy nymph, beautiful, like intentional woman, made this gorgeous skincare brand in black glass, like super clean, super beautiful. And I think of her brand when I think back to the beginning of just like, okay, black glass bottles with gold writing, like sexy rituals that you do with the skincare. And it's like that kind of stuff was just really starting to come around, I think, when we started. And now it's full-fledged that way to me. And I think that's exactly what I'm talking about when you're like, okay, thanks, May. Like, how easy is it for me to like help people find their way into clean beauty when it doesn't mean they have to have like just a jar of coconut oil instead of Chanel? Like that sucks, right? So it used to be like, hey, you go, you're going to take a stand and like use the like Dr. Bronner's and coconut oil instead of all my Dior and Chanel. No offense. Love those brands as well in different ways. But now, I mean, there is no sacrifice. Like you can have some super amazing natural beauty. So that's been exciting to like see really come about. I mean, too many brands to name, but
I love that is amazing. On the pressed juicery thing and the juicing and the cleansing, it seems like there's been like a backlash to juicing and cleansing. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I feel like Jordan, you guys mentioned you were friends with Jordan. We just did a podcast with her. I feel like we talked about this a lot because Jordan has her own like really intense like story with it. So
she used to cleanse for like 20 days at a time.
Yeah. And I mean, there is a time and place if you're whatever, you know, have an issue to deal with. But yeah, so for me with juicing, I mean, what we had said with Jordan, I think was the right way to talk about it, where on one hand, it's so important to me to make some of this stuff trendy and attractive and sexy. And then that moves the needle, you know, someone calling us and saying they want a cleanse because Justin Bieber did it. Great guy. Like if it'll get you to like day 3, where then you have a personal experience and recognize what a detox is and you just really detoxed or whatever, that's amazing. That got you there. And now you'll probably like delve into other areas and change your health in other areas. Like a gateway drug is the word I use all the time, because I think oftentimes that's what green juice is, or that's what's like a really beautiful brand is that's clean. And now you're like, wait, why is it clean? Why is there toxic, carcinogenic, like hormone shifting stuff in my other stuff? How did that happen? So with green juice, I feel like, yes, it's like anytime this happens, right? It achieved this like massive, crazy trendiness, which of course is great for business. But on the other hand, once people start to back, like, you know, they joke in like rock and roll that like you only have achieved success once you have haters, you know? That's actually kind of irrelevant, what I'm saying, but
That's true.
But you know what I mean? It's one of those funny things where like now people are hating on green juice and you're like, how, this isn't even, how did you even think that it's a thing to hate? Like it's not even, it's so like benign and simple. It's like hydration is lame. What's for 2018? It's
So
like, no, it's kale, parsley, celery, spinach. Like your body's always going to need that. And I think what people get really upset about with juice is mainly like kind of a misunderstanding about fiber, where it's like, you need to eat the plants. But juicing has been around for so long. It's like a classic protocol for healing. When your body only, you know, to the extremes of water fasting, all the way down through like, I'm going to have only smoothies. Your digestion is really like able to like downshift. It takes up more energy than almost anything in your body, as you guys probably know. Common knowledge to most of us health geeks these days. So when you allow your body to kind of like slow its roll on digestion, but continue to absorb massive amounts of nutrients, you reach this really incredible state that your body can use to detox. And if you want to talk about detox too, and how everyone says we naturally know how to detox, let's get into it.
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
Well, that's another thing that I feel like is common knowledge, but probably not. It's probably only something I hear because I work for a green juice company, is there's a lot of people out there talking about any kind of detox protocol or cleansing protocol being like extra, because your body is already very intelligent. It knows how to detoxify itself. And that's true. Your body does know how to detoxify itself. But, you know, in the Garden of Eden, we live in, I mean, especially here in LA, like our water is compromised, our air, our food, our everything we put on our bodies. And
Our clothes.
yeah, and I think a lot of people are still kind of having a hard time accepting that that's a thing. But the science is really all there. It's like an obnoxious thing to have to think about, right? But most of us are not drinking out of pure streams and then like, you know, making our own food from the farm and garden and hunting and blah, blah, blah.
People that eat paleo are.
Yeah. You know.
Just kidding. Sorry, paleo people.
Yeah. I mean, our body does need support in these like unnatural conditions to detoxify. Yeah. And I think it's just kind of one of those false things that goes out there. We're like, but your body knows how to detox. Most detox protocols are designed to help stir your body's natural like ability to detox and put it like get it activated and really let it do its thing. It's not trying to like screw with your natural ability to detox. So
I love that. I remember I listened to the episode with you and Jordan. I love her.
Yeah, we got into it.
We love her. And I just wanted you to like kind of repeat that because I really think it's really good.
Yeah. So do you feel like I said what?
No, it was perfect.
The heart of it?
And
okay.
I was like, that was a great question. I thought that was like a great topic to talk about that. And I think that's really important. And I think the important point that you hit on is that as with any trend, you know, when it gets too intense or when it becomes too extreme and people are, you know, abusing it or doing it too intensely or doing it without intention, there's going to be the other pendulum swing back to disliking it. And I think we're on the fat one right now. So it's like fat is like obsession.
Completely.
Fat is everything. You know, and I think there's going to be a swing
back.
It's
never anything. No, nothing's ever like, it's everything. I think it's just, you know, the fun of our culture and our economy right now is that there are these like exciting trends that happen and we discover things and we get like buzzed on stuff and love to talk about a new ingredient or a new topic or a new design or a new artist.
The
And
new.
it's like, when it comes to food, we all just have to kind of keep our heads on that. Yes, there are new things to learn, and there are definitely like paradigms that need to be shifted. And there are some like, I'm like so not a calorie counting oriented person. I think there's so many flaws in that way of thinking. Of course, I understand that there are probably some of you out there though, that like it's really helped you, get a handle on how you eat and stuff. But yeah, I just think you can't be too trend crazy when it comes to something as basic as how you care for your health. Like it's just not the same as fashion. It's just not that.
Amazing. So, what are you excited about for the new year? Are there any trends that you see as kind of the next big thing?
Yes. I'm really surprised by how quickly the breath work, sound bath kind of stuff has taken off. Sound baths are so wild that I was surprised by how quickly, and of course, this is really only an LA thing, I'm sure, but I'm surprised by how many people invite me to things like, and there will be a sound bath. I'm like, really? It's like such deep
I
vibes.
love sound baths.
Yeah.
Like we don't have to talk and I can lay.
Yeah.
Just like super off the top of my head, things I'm personally like talking about to my friends and like excited about. Microcurrent is very exciting on a medical level and on a beauty level, of course.
Can you tell them what microcurrent is?
Yeah. So microcurrent, on the lowest level, it's like the little home devices that you see that I think are the most commercial application, where you've got different devices you can use at home to get a little, like a low level current going through the tissue just underneath your skin. It's like very like lifting and
Amp coil? Is that one of them?
No, but
Okay,
yeah. And then there are a lot of like facialists basically who are using these like microcurrent wands to get in there and do stuff that's like amazing. And it also just it has this whole body cellular effect that's very like holistic. It's incredible. And I think it has a lot of like medical applications that will be exciting. Probably I always say this, the kind of stuff our grandkids will be like, duh. And right now we're like, oh, what's this? This is weird, That's really
napping
exciting.
with their amp coils.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Exactly. Breath work I touched on, but like I think breath work, oh my gosh, I think it's just me, but I know we're all a little bit like me where I'm just like so amped. So breath work is one of those things that's like so miraculously simple that you're like, no, like what do you mean box breathing? You want me to breathe in like for 4 seconds and then I'll feel different? Absolutely not. But it's transformative. I think breath work is so exciting. My friend Ashley Neese, I'm like her biggest fan. And I just think it's so needed for this day and age. And it's incredibly healing. What can I sell you on there with breath work? Like there are a couple of really interesting facts. Like when your nervous system gets deep breathing, it can't get into the stress response. Vice versa. Like I'm kind of botching this, but when basically your body is in fight or flight unless you're properly breathing. So it's this crazy thing when you take a deep breath.
I know we're doing that now.
Yeah, it's incredible. And you realize how much you hold your breath or breathe shallowly. And it's just the fact that you're not deeply enlivening or oxygenating every cell in your body, and you could be, it starts to get things, it's very profound because you start realizing how freaking simple it is to be like really in the moment, really thinking straight, like being well.
And I think it's free.
And it's like literally free.
That's the best stuff is free.
Yeah. After you learn, if you want to go to it.
Yeah. And also I'm coming to like new levels of really appreciating all the non-toxic stuff. Oh, it is not as sexy. I feel like we really started with beauty and food, and now I'm really getting into like the down and dirty, like, no, really, like, there's just a lot of toxic stuff around us in our homes and our water, and it's not quite as fun. It's a little more mechanical, but the more I learn about it, like really, the more passionate I become about that. I feel like a real advocate, hopefully, for people with food. But I feel like the more I'm learning about water and air quality and all this stuff, I'm like, it's really, there's a lot of situations. So I think that's a really important topic that, like I said, it's not as sexy. So I think we haven't talked about it quite as much as like what to eat. And, there's not as much to buy maybe there.
Damn, that's
but,
so true.
Yeah. But I'm really getting into that. And you know what? That's a great thing to sick your boyfriend or husband on. Oh, they can really get
he's
into
like
that.
a gadget. Mm-hmm.
For sure. I had my husband listen to one podcast about kind of like the ideal home.
Was he into it?
And he was like, we're buying all of these things.
Because it's gadget focused.
It's gadgety and stuff. Yeah. So
I love
so
that.
assign, the guys
I
to
will.
that. Not to be
great idea.
sexist. We all like different things.
Yeah. It's like, guys, I love you. Girls rule, guys rule. Everyone rules.
I love that. That's exciting.
Yeah, that's amazing.
What about you guys? Can I flip the switch? What if
Sure.
Sure, girl. I've been waiting all night. What are we excited about? Trend-wise?
Or even I would kind of more say, I think it's interesting knowing from personal experience when you guys talk to a lot of different people, like what's the pulse right now with people? Like, what do you feel like is really like motivating a lot of people that you talk to? Are there any like commonalities? Or like, everyone's on that vibe.
People have been so curious. Our listeners have really responded to when we talk about manifestation and designing your dream life and the fact that you have the power to do that.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Can I interject already?
Yes.
Oh, I feel like this is really important to understand, especially since the name of your blog. And I know you're speaking to so many like 20 somethings. I think it's so cool to like stop and remember that like your dream life isn't Meghan Markle, we love you, but it's not always like Princessville 24/7.
Yes.
I think it's so cool. Like if you're out there and you're 20 something and everything's on fire,
That's messy.
that could totally be part of your perfect plan and your dream life. Like do not forget that like, gosh, not to be like a Hallmark card, but like there are so many incredible life stories out there that when you look at them, you're like, if they would have known when they were 18, 27, God, 57, whatever the hell they were going through, that it was like, we would all look back and see the incredible legacy or the incredible company they built. I mean, every story, even the dream ones and even the stuff that's like 100% manifestation, you're not manifesting, even if you're going through some bullshit. And I just think it's like really great to remember because we're such like a media saturated culture that like, if you're going through something, like let it make you great,
Completely.
I always think about that. Like
Quick
it'll be
aside.
good for your story.
Yeah,
I think about it all the
weird
time.
shit
Yeah.
or stuff
Interview.
that's embarrassing.
I'm going to talk about it in my interview.
I'm like, that sucks. I'm like, it's good for your story.
for sure.
Absolutely. So yeah, they really are interested in that. And yeah, all the woo-woo. I think it's some, what they might think, or maybe what their friends or family might think is woo-woo. They're super, it's almost like their connection to something greater and like whatever they believe in is kind of the key to finding out more about themselves. And a lot of them are going through their Saturn return. So they're quitting their jobs and starting new businesses, or just got out of a relationship,
In
or is
transition.
taking, ownership of their health. They had a health scare and this, that. So yeah, really deeply connecting to their spirit and listening to that first.
Yeah. So ruthless honesty and ruthless self-love.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you think?
I'm excited by the conscious capitalism movement. So brands that are doing good, kind of being more thoughtful about, the supply chain or the impact that they're making environmentally or socially. So that's something I'm really excited about, and the public's increased interest in that is really exciting for me.
100%.
I think I'm frustrated by, it seems like it's frustrating that in the media, there's just like an influx of information, that there's so much information that people are trying to be educated and they're trying to learn and they're trying to do good by themselves.
Yeah.
And that there's so much information on the internet that people are getting overwhelmed and
They just tap out.
or they tap out.
Yes.
So that's like frustrating. That's kind of like something that,
Or they get duped by brands that don't give a fuck.
exactly.
And
They
just
buy
buy
into it, or they believe it, or, so that's kind of frustrating. But I am excited by the general movement towards conscious capitalism. I think that is something that like I love so much.
Yeah. Oh, that's so great. And it is. It's like, you just kind of have to commit to staying in the game, that even if there, there are brands out there that are fluky, or like people have a lot of marketing and what's the truth underneath, just to stay in it and keep, hoping to find stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it is very confusing, overwhelming though. Yeah.
It's so much,
Like, is it a big brand or a small brand that's good? Like,
exactly. Or
which one's supporting?
Like the over information. It's like, that's when you just need to like go back to basics. And I think a lot of the wellness industry, and a lot of the things we talked about today, like breath work is free. Tea is very affordable. Coconut oil is very affordable. Sometimes the most natural and basic things are very affordable and very easy. And we know that that's what we need. A lot of times people know it, but they, to lose weight, people know that they need to expel more calories than they take in at a very general basic level. But people want to count macros and they want to, freak out about this or that. So it's like coming back to like knowing what that deep down in your heart what's good for you and what's best for you from like a wellness perspective.
It's hard to be still and it's hard to be calm. And that's where I think most of the like self-honesty stuff that I'm kind of referring to comes from, is it's really hard to like get alone with yourself. And like there's so much noise coming at us all the time that you start to become so acclimated to it. It's actually hard to like turn it all off.
100%.
It's like the first time I went to Ojai, I was like, oh, if you were running from anything or like going through a breakup or you were trying to like be dishonest with yourself, you couldn't even be here because it's so quiet. You can hear every like thought in your own head. But I think kind of forcing yourself into that situation or scenario every so often, it's like make yourself work out or something. It's like a little bit of a discipline to be like, okay, get quiet or get alone. And make sure that like what you're manifesting or what you're thinking about or who you're becoming is actually you, yourself, and what you intend.
Yep.
Not like overly influenced.
Like pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, what's happening? Where are you? What are you doing? What are you wearing? Who are you with?
Yeah. That is the pre-midlife crisis. Like, keeps you from getting to that place where you're like, oh, how did I end up here? You'll never end up in that place if you're... that's so amazing to hear that so many of your listeners are in that place a little bit. Like, go with that and be always checking in with yourself, because you can make small adjustments all the time that are so like, will make your life much more graceful than if you need to make an abrupt turn, when you're older.
Totally.
Oh man.
That's so beautiful.
This is so wonderful. Thank you for being here, Suzanne.
Oh.
This is so beautiful.
Great. I was like sitting here. I'm like, oh my God, so many quotable moments here with you, Suzanne.
I'm going to sing a song.
Yeah,
I'm going to sing a song.
Really tweetable.
Where can people connect with you?
Oh, okay. So the chalkboardmag.com is our site. Like I said, we're there every day. We have a twice weekly newsletter that goes out. That's a good way to like get yourself hooked on it so you don't forget, the resource. Speaking of like noise and all the things that are around us. Instagram, we're the Chalkboard Mag. We try to like put as much meaning in there as we can, even though it's fun and pretty and whatever. We try to like get some of that meaningful stuff out into Instagram too. So that's like a nice little uplift. And basically the Chalkboard Mag across social anywhere. Yeah. Oh, and can I mention, actually, so exciting for us. Monday, we launched our first holiday pop-ups.
Yes, I saw that.
Yes.
Wait, where?
So they're only in California, but we have never done a retail project offline. Our shop on the site has been really fun for us digitally for a long time, but we just launched a pretty tightly curated wellness, beauty, home, a couple cookbooks in there, some really stunning kitchen stuff in 5 different locations of Pressed Juicery, our parent company. So Abbott Kinney, Manhattan Beach, Larchmont, Beach Cities. Where am I forgetting? But yeah, so they're really
it's in
cute.
in the Pressed store?
They're in the Pressed store.
Cool.
And I don't know when this goes live, so you could always cut this, but if you register for our open house on Sunday, you get a free Pressed Juicery free sundae with Sugarfina, including the Sugarfina green juice gummy bears. Oh my gosh. Or a free juice, depending on what store you go to. But
damn.
Cool. Wait, that's amazing. Okay, cool. We'll definitely tell everyone and make sure everyone knows about that.
Yeah, I think that might be fun.
Yes.
Sounds good, guys.
I'll be there. We'll
Do
be
you
there.
guys not wish you could answer like live questions? That seems like a burning need. I'm like, I want to like know what people are thinking.
100%.
I love them so much.
Yeah,
They're always they're asking us questions every
You're
day.
like, actually, we're overwhelmed.
Yeah, no. Literally every day. We love them so much. But yeah, for guests too, we're working on that as well.
Yeah, that is
Have
true. Because
people-
there's like a lot of times people come on and they're like, oh, like we have threads. If you come on again, we'll have like a thread
fun.
and we'll give people, we'll be like, what do you want to ask? And then we'll basically just ask whatever they want us to
That's
ask.
fun.
Yeah, it is really fun.
Very
But
cool.
you know what? To be honest, they'll DM you directly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. They're coming
Watch
for
out.
me.
Yeah.
They don't need us. They were basically just use us to get to the good guests.
So fun. I love what you guys have going on
Oh,
here.
thanks,
Thank
sister.
you so
Thanks for
much.
coming here.
So good.
We love you.
So
we love the
good.
Chalkboard Mag. So excited for you guys to listen to this episode. Connect with Suzanne, connect with them, sign up for the newsletter.
Yeah.
And see you guys at Pressed Juice.
Yeah. We'll be there. We'll be always hard.
We love you
guys.
Have a good week. Bye.
Almost 30 Nation, we hope you enjoyed that episode with Suzanne Hall. How cool is she? I'm sure you wrote down those emerging trends of 2018. I wrote them down. I'm going to Google the shit out of them. But we just appreciate you listening. And if you loved this episode and any others, share with your friends. You know, it's always nice to pass along things that you loved. I'm sure other people will get something out of it too. So thank you again for subscribing, rating, and reviewing on iTunes. And if you haven't already, check out our Patreon page, patreon.com, patreon.com/almost30. You can donate a few bucks a month to help us keep this train a-rolling. We are so excited to bring you a ton of new content in the new year. So this really helps us out. And if you are a patron of Almost 30, you will receive exclusive content, extra episodes, video content from us, our dad hats, sweet apparel, all of that. So we cannot wait to connect with you there as well. And a few thank yous. Thank you so much to Podcast Masters for editing our episodes, to our producer, Chloe Money, who's just killing the game. We love you. Thank you for coming down for our events. Thank you to everyone who has attended the last couple events of this year, 2017. We have so many more in the new year, so look out for those. And thank you just to Almost 30 Nation. Y'all rock. Next week, we will be releasing an episode. It will be with Natalie Kuhn of Taryn Toomey. Oh my God. Natalie is like in a person. I cannot wait to share this. We cannot wait to share this with you. So stay tuned. December 26th, we will be releasing an episode. Watch it in your jammy or listen to it in your jammies with your fam or something, or just by yourself. We love you guys. Have a wonderful holiday, whatever you celebrate. And we just can't wait to rock it in 2018 with you all. So join our secret Facebook group, email us, DM us. We want to hear from you. Love y'all.